Okay.
Okay.
And do you want to get yours rolling?
I just have to do that.
Battle of the recorders. You ask me a question, I'll ask you. No.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. Will you just? I need you to say your name for the record.
Okay. I'm Diane Robles or Roble. It's Spanish meaning oak tree.
Oh. Do you have a preference to how it's pronounced?
No, as long as that's not Robles.
Okay.
Then I smack people, you see.
Oh,
so yeah,
okay.
No, I'm only kidding.
Well, I could probably take 2 shots from you before I go down.
There you go, yeah.
Okay. Well, I really, because people are going to be listening to this, and there are going to be maybe even a dozen people who don't know you.
Right. Like quite a few dozen, yeah.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to start off kind of getting a general feel for who you are. I mean, and can you describe yourself?
Well, yeah, I think actually a good way to start is how you saw me when you were coming up the path today in my little garden.
Yes.
And that is that nature is everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I do, and it just all comes from nature. And so I'm outside spinning, as you can see today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a rug, and everything I make is only one of a kind. And so it's exciting. I'm always on an adventure.
Can we call you an artist?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
A serious artist that's very playful.
Nicely put.
Yeah, it saddens my heart when I think of the word artist. I'm not very comfortable with it because people really don't, I think, understand a lot about the difference between being a serious, true artist versus doing it for money or doing it to be noticed. That kind of thing. It's hard work. It's a life's work.
What's hard about it?
Well, mostly I'm alone, which I love anyways, because I don't like nonsense. And I don't like fluffy talk, and I don't like typical praise just to sound good. I was like today, just a delightful day for me. I'm cold and I feel it, and I was picking dead flowers to put into something new. I have them all over my studio because they're just as beautiful, if not even more so, when they're dead. And so the spinning, when I found spinning, which was in New Zealand, I hadn't even thought of it. I had been trained as a pianist from 4 years old until I was 20. And then I had 2 children. And then I went, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my hands for the rest of my life? Piano was not my choice. I wanted to be a dancer. And later I became a dancer, but more of the experimental kind, lots of movement, jazz, spontaneous stuff. Took yoga and tai chi and qigong, and so in my early 30s I decided, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And people already thought they had it figured out for me.
And what did people think the rest of your life would be?
Well, they wanted me from the beginning. I was grown up to be very pretty, very quiet, do not speak, just look good, and be what everybody else wanted me to be, including my parents.
Right.
And as I got older, then it was husbands, and it was the government, and the society, and the churches, and everything else. And this had always bothered me from the time I was a little girl. I was born knowing some things. I don't know how. It's all a mystery to me. I don't pretend to know. In fact, I think the really important things in life we really don't know much about at all.
And what kind of things would those include?
Well, an example of being a little 3 and 4-year-old person. I couldn't say the words, but everything looked fine on the surface. And yet, I knew something was wrong with this picture.
And you're talking about the picture of your family life.
The picture of my family, religion. I was brought up a Catholic. My father was a Protestant. I didn't see that those things were important. I felt that all religions are worth studying, which I did over many years. And I don't like control on everybody and who and how and what they're supposed to be. I'm an individual, and that's been given a bad rap, I think. That, to be an individual is not necessarily to be a narcissistic person, I don't think. And I think a lot of times when you focus on yourself instead of others, I really think it should be the other way around. And the reason I say that is that if I don't understand me, and if I don't take the time for me, and to listen to me, and to be quiet with me, and to hear me, and see me, how can I ever do that with another human being and have my heart and my soul as much for another as I do for myself? I think it's backwards, because the example I have of that, it seems to be, I would almost say that it's a truth, because as I was being exactly, and I say exactly what my parents wanted, I was an only child. I wanted to please them more than anything else. And so I did everything. I was kind of the perfect child for 19 years.
So what did that entail? And looking back, what do you think you sacrificed to fit into that role?
I sacrificed myself. And I don't believe in any of us should have to sacrifice ourselves in order to be good people. I think we've only been given ourselves. That is my responsibility, to be the best human being I can be. Not to compete, not to be afraid, and to be genuinely myself. Well, how can I do that if everybody's telling me what to do instead of listening to what makes my heart beat and it makes me passionate and excited and happy? And I lost all of that over living the traditional life for very many years. So I brought my children up never feeling, no matter what they chose to do, that I would be disappointed in them. You give them the best tools you can, you teach them some basics, and you love them forever. But it's their life. Eventually, we don't own anything, in my opinion, or anybody. And yet people are always working, not spending time, I think, where it really counts, which is sitting together, looking at each other, seeing each other in the eyes, and sharing. That's all I'm doing with you today, is sharing. Mm-hmm. I'm not right. I don't care about being right. I don't even care about being popular. I was popular. And it seems, when I look back, my life story is being written, and I remember the Catholic Protestant. I went to both schools. I had both friends of Catholics and Protestants. I've never had bigoted bone in my body. How's that? B. I've always been curious about people that are different than I am. And I've always been one that apparently drove everybody crazy, which was, I always asked questions. I want to know. And so I'm always, why? When my mother, who was a staunch rather blind faith Catholic. I said, she said, but, you know, the church says this, and I say, so? Like, who are they? They're just people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying that at a very young age. So, you know, and when people would come over, as I said, I'm an only child, and my mother and father both had 8 brothers and sisters, and I had all these cousins and blah, blah, blah. And they were all very, very extremely different, and they hated each other. They would cry and they would get drunk, and one side was the prude side and the other side was the crazy, you know, alcoholic, throw things side, you know. And I was sitting there in the middle going, I think I'll go outside and play in the garden. And I don't want to be around these people. They were all in competition with one another. They all thought one side was right and the other one was wrong. And to me, that's what's wrong with the planet in the first place, is that I think people basically live in fear. I did.
What were you afraid of?
I was afraid of my father, who I did not meet until, in fact, I had not met any man until I was almost 4 years old. He was in the war, the Second World War, and when he came back and I saw him, how handsome he was in his uniform and whatnot, I looked at him and I absolutely was frightened to death of him, and at another level, I was absolutely in love with him. And I always went to my mother to ask if I could do something instead of going to my father. Mm-hmm. Religion built fear into me. I had my knuckles wrapped with wire clothes hangers to make me a right-handed person. I was threatened all the time. If you don't do such and such, this is what will happen to you. My mother even created a bird who said that when she wasn't around, she would send the bird with me, and that would keep me, you know, like she was watching me all the time.
That sounds like something from Grimm's fairy tales.
Exactly. And so I grew up in great fear. And where my father was concerned, we had a very deep bond. I did not have a deep bond with my mother. I was a book reader, and my father was an opera singer, and I used to sit and listen to the Metropolitan Opera every morning with him on the radio. But at another level, it was like he was a male, and I was so afraid of him. And so I grew up being afraid of men. And
did you know that at the time?
Not at the time. And then when I turned around 30, knowing these things more and more, and then having my own 2 children, I started to delve into myself at a very deep level. A lot of hypnosis, a lot of therapy, a lot of body work, a lot of massage, rolfing, you name it, I pretty much did it in order to break myself down and get back to the root of me. And it took a long time. So I say to young people that are having children today, just watch your little ones. See what makes them happy. See what they're about. And promote that rather than something they're not about. I should have been running around and dancing all the time because I was born with ADD. I became dyslexic, I'm high-strung, I'm very sensitive, I love beauty, but I dug into the deepest part of my being, the dark side as well as the light, and wanted to understand who am I really, not what does the world see me as.